Before the big game tonight, I wanted to recap the Kansas State game and also give a little preview for what we can expect with this game versus UConn today. Now, obviously, we were without U.S. Basketball Writer Association Player of the Year, JuJu Watkins, but she was there in spirit. And, Funko. She had her Funko version out there on the court, which I love that. They had the t-shirts for JuJu. They had the Funko Pop. You love to see that kind of support and camaraderie from the squad. Now, now, if you watched the last recap, and for those that didn't, I'll repeat some of the points here. I talked about Kennedy Smith and how she's a lot more than the 3-and-D player that we've seen all season. I said that she had just barely scratched the surface on the offensive end of what she can truly be, and in this game, she dug a little deeper. We got to see a lot more of her bag. Not only was she getting out in transition and getting buckets, she was hitting the three-point shot as she's done for most of the season, but she was also running the offense a lot of the times, finding players like Rhea Marshall and Kiki Iriafen for those little mid-range jumpers that they were wide open on, and they were knocking them down. So, well, they knocked some of them down. We'll get back to that in a second. But it was nice to see her in her full bag. I can't wait to see once JuJu comes back if they incorporate Kennedy Smith the same way, and not like in a my turn, your turn kind of way, but in more of a pick your poison kind of way where they have everything flowing at once. Looking forward to that. But she definitely was leading the team out there. She got it started in the first quarter. She closed it out in the fourth quarter. It was lovely to see. Avery Howell, everything that I expected her to be in this game. Back-to-back games with 4 threes made. That quick release, I mean, it's automatic. She's shooting with the most confidence in the country right now, outside of maybe Paige Bueckers. But she's putting that thing up automatically. She's not thinking about it. Any flash of daylight, she's letting it go. And we're seeing good results from that. I'm hoping that we can see the same thing going forward. I was hoping that she could at least match Tamara Poindexter's production from the three-point line. She did a lot more than that. Those two led the way. Kaylee Heckel, our K9, she was the other freshman that was out there handling business. Nobody can really stay in front of her. But those finishes at the rim, like I said before, probably one of the top finishers as far as a point guard, especially a smaller point guard in the country. Any angle, that's that New York stuff, man. That's that New York stuff. The English off the glass, she's got it. And that three-point shot, once that's going down, you really can't stop her. I really love the fact that Coach G stuck with her in the fourth quarter. We've seen times when some coaches have gone against their freshmen and turned back to their seniors. We saw with NC State when they had Zam Jones cooking. She had an 11-point run by herself in the second quarter, but once it got tight in the fourth, we didn't see much of her. We just saw with Duke, Toby Fournier, leading the team in scoring all year long, leading the team in scoring this game, their best offensive rebounder, but when they were down two and they needed a bucket, she wasn't in the game. Coach G did not do that. As much as we love TVO and her leadership, Coach G went with the hot hand and who was the most productive in this game, which was Kaylee Heck. So I applaud both of them, the player and the coach. Love to see that. Hopefully she keeps it going in this game because we're going to need her. Now, I expected to see Kiki Iriafen and Ayoka Lee kind of cancel each other out. I didn't expect they would both have a subpar game, but either way it goes, they did cancel each other out, so that was cool. Nobody on the other end can match what Rhea Marshall brings as far as the defensive anchor. I think that's also the case in the next game, which we'll talk about in just a second. But Rhea Marshall, she was shooting pretty poorly as well in the first half, but she got it turned around in the second half, knocked down 4 shots, including a couple middies, cleaned up the glass and put one back. Very timely on that one because we needed that bucket. So she was out there doing her thing. Pitbull came out and gave her usual production. I was also expecting Clarice, like I said in the last video, I was expecting Clarice to come off the bench and play a big role in trying to limit Ayoka Lee. She did exactly that. So everybody played their part in this game. You love to see it. JuJu was at home cheering the team on. She was there in spirit. Also in the locker room. She was there on FaceTime after the game. And so, yeah, a good team win by everybody. All right, now what am I expecting to see in this game versus UConn? Let's start with Avery Howell. Miss Consistent. I'm expecting to see her knock down the usual 4 threes. If she puts up 8, 9, or 10 of them, she'll probably go about 40 to 50% again. I believe that she can match AZ Fudd in production as long as she doesn't go and give us the version of AZ Fudd that we saw against South Carolina when she went for 28. But if she has her typical game and is closer to what she averages for the season, I believe that Avery Howell can match her bucket for bucket. I believe that Kennedy Smith, with her two-way game, she can match what Sarah Strong brings. Bucket for bucket, defense for defense. I believe that she can match her as well. We're going to need Kiki Iriafen to step up and have another big game. Not like what we saw last game, but what we saw the game before that, which I think we will. I'm kind of glad that she didn't have a big game against Kansas State, just because the likelihood that she would have 3 great games in a row, not so high. But the fact that she had pretty much a subpar for her standard game last time kind of gives me a good feeling that she's going to come out tonight and have a great game. On the flip side, Paige Bueckers has been playing well above her head. Not saying that she can't continue to do it, but she's been playing well above her averages. And I mean, the odds are that she'll come down a little bit to earth in this game, hopefully. Hopefully, especially with Kennedy Smith out there defending her. This isn't the players that she went against South Dakota State, or this isn't Peyton Verhulst, who she went against for Oklahoma. This is Kennedy Smith that she's going to be facing today, so it's a whole different ball game. As far as the others, I don't think they have anybody on their side that can match what Ray Marshall brings. That defensive anchor, that toughness, definitely not Ice Brady, or definitely not Jenna L. Alfie. They're not what Rhea Marshall is, so I think we have the advantage there. As far as K9 and Pitbull coming off the bench, I believe they can match or surpass whatever it is that KK Arnold and Caitlin Chen can bring. And so I'm honestly not as worried about this game. I won't say I'm not as worried, but I'm not putting UConn as the undoubted favorite that some people seem to have them as. I think that this is an even game and that it's going to come down to who makes the shots, which way the balls bounce, which way the calls go. Obviously, because if Kennedy Smith gets in foul trouble with some ticky-tack fouls, that can change the entire complexion of the game. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about our odds on winning this game versus UConn. With all due respect, I think they're probably the toughest game that's left in this tournament. So I'm not downplaying them at all. I think they're a tougher matchup right now than pretty much anybody that's left. But yeah, I don't think that USC has to do anything outside of what they are capable of doing. I don't think they have to play like a perfect game or anything like that to pull this one out. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm giving ourselves some really good odds on this one. You know, I think it's going to be a great game, probably one of the best games of the tournament. But everybody has to show up, especially Kiki Area Fan. We're going to need superstar version of Kiki Area Fan on this one. So we'll see what happens. Second year in a row that we made it to the Elite Eight. It'd be nice if we can make it past the Elite Eight and make it into the Final Four this season, but you know, you never know. This is a tough game. This isn't going to be an easy one at all. So after the game, I'll probably be back with a recap, you guys. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to check that out. Other than that, catch you guys on the next video. Peace.